Hi everyone, this is Sandra from All About Systems, and today I'm going to walk you through how to create a WordPress site from scratch. Okay, so it's finished loading, and now I'm at the at my website, and you'll see at the top here, this is our admin panel. So we want to start customizing this because obviously I'm not loaded fitness, yoga, and training. So you click up here on Customize, and this is where the fun starts. Okay, so we'll start by changing the top here. So we're going to change our logo. Okay. Nice logo here. Drag. Now I've got my logo up here. Site title is obviously not loaded. And then tagline. And site icon is a little tiny icon that shows up here in the top left of the tab. Use this one for my site icon. Might not want the whole thing. Might want to just keep the logo part. Go. Now you can see the little icon up here changed. And using the smaller version, so that it's just the my icon part of the logo, it's a lot clearer. If I had used the whole logo, it'd be even more smushed. You save automatically as you go through, so I don't have to click save here. Of course, you do need to click publish to actually publish it to the web once you're done, but I'm going to save that. I'm going to wait until I do a few other things first. So this is the theme that we have. We've just updated site identity, and now we can go to site design, and it's giving me some different options here. And every theme you pick is going to have different ways to customize it. So you can play around with a theme, and then you can always go back and go to active theme, and you can change it here. So you can look at other installed themes you have or look for new ones. So I'm going to flip through here and take a look, and you can see how it changes the font and a few other things. And you can kind of see what you like. I'm leaning towards modern or welcoming. I think I'm going to go with welcoming. And of course, I'm going to stick with my purple theme. I could change my colors here if I wanted to further customize it, but I like the lavender, so I think I'm going to stick with that. And I'm going to keep my, I think I'm going to keep my header white, but if I wanted to change it, this is how it would look. But I think we're good. Oh, I can go beige as well. No, I think I like the white. I can also change the font color if I want, but I'm going to leave it as it is for now. Now I can customize my header. So I can flip it around into the different options I have. I kind of like the traditional way. Yeah. So the header is good, and I'm going to go to footer. Now I can change my footer looks, which is all the way down here. We don't really have much content in the footer yet, but I do plan on eventually putting some in there. But I'm not quite ready to put it in, so I'm going to just leave it with my social icons for now. And then when I am ready to put something in these widgets, which will probably be a contact form or a subscribe button for my newsletter, I'll come back and I'll change the footer and I'll update it. But for now, I'm going to stick with just the short menu and my social icons. Social, so this is where you put in all your social links. So if you don't know what your links are, you can always copy and paste them from your actual account. Because I know LinkedIn, I don't think it's going to work like this. I think there's a PA or something in the middle, but I'll do that later. I don't have Pinterest, so I'm going to take it out. You'll notice that it removes Pinterest because it's not there. Now, the only thing that is missing that I would have liked to have here is YouTube. But we can look at different options for that. Okay. These are the menus. I'm not going to worry about that yet. Okay, settings. So this is your copyright text here at the bottom, probably powered by WordPress. I don't want it to say that. I want to see my company name. This is my actual formal corporate name, which I'm going to put that in there. Homepage settings. This is how you can change what your homepage looks like. So some people might want it to go straight to the blog or might want to define a completely different static page. I like the way this looks, which is why I picked this template. So I'm not going to make any changes here. WooCommerce. So I picked a theme that has an online store, which you'll probably see here under sessions. Oh, maybe it's not here. But I'm not going to worry about any of this yet because I'm going to have to set up my store items later. So you may see some other settings here as well, depending on the theme you chose. These are the basic ones. Then once we're ready with that, so we're not changing content here. We're just changing the appearance and the way things kind of look. So we can't go in and change the daily classes and all this text yet. We have to go somewhere else, and I'll show you where in a second. So we can click on publish. And now it's published. So if we actually go to systems, you'll see that this is live here now with my logo and the changes we made, so the font and whatnot. So now I'm going to close out of this, and we'll go to the main dashboard. Clicking here. All right, so this is the back end of your WordPress site. If you've never been back here before, then it might be a bit intimidating, but it's not as difficult as it looks. So to start, there's a couple different ways you can get to modifying your content. Posts are anything that'll show up under your blog. Media is all of your images and document library, basically. Pages are all of your static pages. So they won't show up in your blog posts. They are basically what you have show up here: sessions, contact page, and you can add more, obviously. Comments, I tend to not have comments on my website. I figure, like, once you're doing a lot of blog posts and you want people to comment on them, it's probably easier to not have to worry about moderating comments, and you can turn those off. WooCommerce is the online shopping area, which this site has. Not all themes that you pick will have WooCommerce installed automatically. I'm not going to get into that today, and products would be related to that as well. Same with analytics and marketing. This is all for WooCommerce. Appearance, this is customizes where we went to make those changes earlier. Menus is what's going to show up in your menu. So this is where you go if you want to change the order of how these things look. Plugins are a lot of fun, and I'm not going to get into them, but this is how you add additional functionality to your site. If you're planning on having some sort of membership site, or you have multiple users logging in to provide you content, you would spend a bit more time here. Tools are a whole bunch of back-end things that I'm not going to, it's more for advanced users, so I'm not going to get into that here. I am going to get into a little bit of the settings, because this is something that you should do when you first create your site. So I'll just walk through them quickly. So your site title is what's showing up here, and your tagline, work smarter, not harder. You don't want to be changing these URLs here. Leave them alone. This is the email account that would be used for admin purposes. Membership is something separate. I'm not getting into that here. What I do want to show you is date format. Depending where you are in the world, you may want your dates on your website to appear differently. You may want month, day, year. You may want day, month, year. I'm going to stick with the default format, and I'm going to actually change the time so that it's capital like that, because I like it better. And I'm going to save those changes. Next, under settings, I'm going to go to writing. And we don't have any defaults set up here yet. We don't have any categories created, so we can't put it here. That'll be a topic for another time. I'm not gonna, this is for another conversation as well. I think it's reading I want to go to. It's good too. Usually the default settings are fine for most users. And I want to get that, take that off. I don't want people to be allowed to submit comments on new posts. Media, the defaults are fine for this as well. Links. Now this is the one that it's already defaulted. I prefer to have it defaulted to the post name. Just it looks nicer. And I'm glad to see that they're defaulting it here now. It used to be defaulted here, so you'd get people's websites, when you go click on a post, it would have all these funky characters at the end, and it just looks messy. But now what will happen by default when you create a new post, it'll put the post title into the URL for you automatically, which is nice. You can also customize the structure. So if you wanted to put the dates or the years into your post, in case every year, say you run an annual post for Valentine's Day or whatever, you can default the year in here, so that when you create the second one, it won't be Valentine's 2, it'll be Valentine's 2021. Usually what I change here, and these can be modified too, but we're not going to get into that now. Okay. So we've got the core of what we want here. Now I need to start changing the content, because obviously I'm not the Lotus Fitness and Yoga Training Studio. So when you're logged in, one of the easiest ways to edit existing information. I think I'm frozen. There we go. So the easiest way to edit existing information on your site is to log in and have your admin bar up at the top and navigate to the page you want to change. So if I wanted to change my contact information first, I can click on contact, and this is my default contact page. And if you click right here on edit page, I can get to this page directly to edit it. So you don't have to go through the back end and figure out where in the menu structure everything is. You just click on edit page and you can edit this content directly. So this is just the default info, and it's just explaining the block structure that WordPress uses, or that this theme uses. Okay, so contact, that's fine. I'll keep my contact information. I do want to replace this because I have nothing to do with yoga. I like yoga, but no. All right. So now here I want to change the content to be relevant to me. So looks funny. They have a spelling mistake in the default template. Okay. I'm going to keep this simple because I'll go back and make more changes after I'm not recording that. And this is just, you just type in a block and replace what they have. And this one will default to my admin email address, so I don't really have to change anything here. Now they've got all these pictures down here, which I don't need. So if you can tell, each of these is a block. So this contact title is a block here. This is part of the main document. So the document part here, this gives you some basic information about just page and the information about the page. So it shows you whether or not it's visible. So when you first create a page, if you were to create a new page from scratch, it wouldn't automatically be published. You would have to publish it in order for it to show up on the internet. This one was already published, so it says public, and it was published earlier. So somehow my time zone needs to be off, but that's likely in the settings. We can go look at that. Permalink, so this is what we had it defaulting to. So if you remember when we were in settings under permalink, we said we wanted to default to the post name. And so that's why it's contact. And featured image, there isn't one here. Featured image is what would show up, mostly relevant for pages and posts. So if you were to share something to Facebook or Instagram or wherever, it would, the default image that would get picked up if I were to share this link usually tends to be the featured image that's here. If you wanted to override a page to allow comments, you could click that off here, and we don't need to worry about page attributes. So if I click back into content, this is the top of the page, so we're going to leave that as it is. All About Systems was the image that I had here. So this is a block. So in between each block, you'll see a little plus sign that you can click on, and you can add a different type of block. So this is some sort of content that you want to put in. There's a whole bunch to select and go through, and I'm not going to go through each one in this tutorial. I'm just kind of going to fly through setting up my site, a basic site, so you get an idea of how you can quickly set up your own site. So my contact page is mostly done. These pictures down here aren't relevant to me, so I'm going to delete them for now. So I'm just going to remove the entire block. If I wanted to keep the block, I could update the media library and replace these if I wanted, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to delete the whole block. It's not relevant to the site that I'm building. And you know what? I'm actually, well, let's take a look and see. So you click on preview up to here to see what it'll look like. So there's my contact page. And you know what? I don't really like this giant logo up here because it takes too long to get down to my contact information. So I'm just going to remove this block of the file. Preview it again. And I think that looks fine. Once you're happy with it, go back and you click update, and then it'll become live. Amazon. Time to shop. Okay, now we're back to the main page. If I go to contact, you'll see that the page that I updated with my contact information. And I go back to home. And now I want to change all this here. So I'm going to edit this page. There we go. Now I can click right in and I can start making changes here on my home page. Okay. Now, I don't have a membership thing, so join now doesn't make sense for my site. So this here is a button block. We've got 2 buttons here. So you see the different blocks that you use. If you go under block on this side, on the right side, you can change what your buttons look like. So you can change the look of your site like that. Default, whether it's bold or outline. Border settings, and then you can default what it links to. I don't have any pages set up to link to it yet, so I'm not going to make that change. Then all this section here, these are also not relevant to me, but I'm going to add and remove blocks to make it look like the way I want it to look. And I'll probably stop there, because otherwise it's going to get a little redundant. We'll take one last look here. Update that. Let me take a look at the final site. There you go. All the systems. So now I can continue working and move all this other stuff that isn't relevant to me and make it relevant to me and what I want to design. All right. So I hope that was useful. And if there's something else you are interested in learning about, or if you have a specific plugin that you're looking for, specific functionality that you're looking to try to incorporate with your WordPress site, or anything else to do with the system, leave me a message at the comment below, or check out my website and send me a message there as well. Thanks.